What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of Respect the Game. My name is Edward, named after a great man, that being my pops. Shout out to my mother and my grandmother for helping raise me too. Please make sure you go follow at EMAX Stats for all your up-to-date high school, pro, and collegiate sports coverage. Will not disappoint. We'll keep you up to date on all that is going on in the beautiful, illustrious sports world that we have here in the world. Right now, it's a little 2-on-2. Shaq and Kobe going for the three-peat, not at full strength, but nonetheless, we're gonna hold it down for our brothers Black Peace and I Am Sedacious in their absence.
Come on, man. Big brother Iron Man. Shine Hard Izzo tapping in. Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud if we was 10 years ago. Cash App, all that shit, man. Kobe and Shaq, 1 and 2, man. Let's go.
Yeah, man. So last week we didn't get to shoot the pod. Obviously, I had one out to Cancun for brother-in-law's wedding. Shout out to him and his beautiful wife. And fell asleep even though we intended to shoot the pod. But yeah, so we missed a week, but we're right back at it, still pushing the consistency, staying, in y'all feed, and appreciate y'all listening to us, as we always do say. So getting to this week's podcast, it was a bit of a dead week because last week was like the All-Star break. The games had not much had been really going on because of the All-Star break for the NBA, and it was the following week after the Super Bowl. So we're now officially in the NFL off season, and we'll probably talk about the draft as it gets closer and closer to the draft, the NFL draft. Uh, but coming off the All-Star game, it's not what it used to be in terms of the competitive spirit, the competitive nature. One thing that they tried to do to spice it up and liven it up is when they did the team captains, and then they allowed the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference players to be mixed up amongst each other, going up against each other, and a true pickup game, right? And so that was kind of lively, I guess, maybe kind of grabbed people's attention for a little bit. However, they did away with that, and it's went back to its natural form of Eastern All-Stars going up against the Western All-Stars. Over 200 points scored in the game, setting a record by the Eastern Conference. Dang, All-Star MVP also wins the
Oh,
three-point
you like that?
contest. I mean, like it, but at the same time, it's just like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Now, however, I forget the stat verbatim, but I want to say him and Michael Jordan are like the only two people to win MVP and like a skills challenge, all in the same All Star appearance, something along those lines. But Shanho Izzo, for you, specifically talking about the All Star game, do you believe it is beyond repair in terms of recaptivating fans' attention to actually want to watch the game compared to what it used to be back in the day?
Um, I don't know if it's beyond repair. I think it is at a delicate state right now because you're teetering on like, okay, this shit about to turn into the Pro Bowl in a minute to where we finna just strip the whole game and just make it all this auxiliary stuff. And, you know, people were talking about maybe a one-on-one tournament to suffice or to, substitute the All-Star game, which I don't know if I'm opposed to, but I was thinking more so along the lines of and try to incentivize it as much as they can. But I get it though. A lot of times the star players this is their chance to get a break during the season. But my whole thing is, historically speaking, the stars of today, you're not playing that many games anyway. So it's like I don't know what argument you're trying to make for, oh, we play too many games, or we trying to rest, or we trying. It's like, man, I get it with people gonna bring up MJ, but man, MJ played what 80 out of 82 games. I think 10 seasons straight. Unreal, right? And I don't think he gave it any less in any All Stars, games that he was selected, which was probably all of them, barring his rookie year. But I don't know, man. Maybe they do a king of the hill, a king of the court type ordeal, three dribble 1-on-1 rules. I don't know what revitalizes it, man, but maybe you incentivize it. Maybe the winner, east or west. Uh, maybe some type of playoff seeding going to play, which
Yeah.
would kind of be crazy. But
I heard that an incentive that was offered is like, hey, whoever wins out of the East and the West automatically gets home court advantage for the NBA Finals. And that would be crazy. That's beyond a reach because there's just so many nuances that have to factor in. But
most of them niggas ain't getting that. So I feel like the people who felt like they would have a chance would be incentivized to go out and play hard,
Chloe,
on both
yeah,
sides of
yeah.
the. So, i.e., your stars that are on your perennial championship roster, your Jokic, who's the poster boy for I don't give a about
Him
this.
and Luca, yeah.
Him and Luca,
Yeah.
right? So, I don't know, man. I would hate to say that the product is damaged beyond repair, but man, I just think it. I think it kind of more so fits with the attitude of society now. Like people want to do less and get the most out of everything, right? So
Yeah.
I don't think your celebrities of the world are any different, right? Shit, if we can get by it this weekend with just dibbly dabbling, skating around this and barely putting effort into it, I think it's something that they obviously are willing to do. Sadly, but what can you do?
So there's the monetary incentive with the play in the in-season tournament, right? Each player and the staff and coaches getting $500,000, if you can win the in-season tournament. For most of these all-stars, right? Some of them or a good portion of them are on max deals or they, get paid a lump sum per game. We ain't just talking about yearly, but they get a lump sum per game. Do you think there's a number that could increase the competitiveness for these players, or it's just like what's $1 million to me when I'm making 60 plus a year? Like, do you think there's a dollar amount that can incentivize like a more competitive game for the All Star?
Um, Money is a huge motivator. I don't know how much it will motivate the top guys in the league who are on super max deals or max deals for the most part. Um, I think one potential way that you can incentivize it is perhaps maybe instead of home court in the finals, maybe that counts towards a vote towards your All NBA team. You know, if the winning team wins, maybe the starting five, that automatically counts as maybe one or two votes towards your first team All NBA, which would in turn determine because if you make an All NBA team, that's 99% of contract kicker within your contract, which will put you to that super max mark. Maybe they throw that in as a hey, whatever side wins, the starting five players, you will be already ahead of the curve in regards to all NBA voting. And once it starts affecting people's pockets like that in the long term, because short term, if I dangle $1 million out in front of a millionaire, that's like dangling $10 in front of a regular person. Do they want it? Yeah, for sure. Why not? But if I don't get it, am I tripping? Probably not. Um, One way to look at it, perhaps. I don't know, man. Dudes just got to start respecting the game, quite literally.
True indeed. NBA second half predictions. We're not that many games away since the All-Star break. So is there any predictions that you like to put down on paper before we get knee deep into, nearing towards the end of the season and getting the playoffs going? Anything in particular you want to be on record for as we get ready, as we go deeper into the second half of the NBA season?
As a disclaimer, I do want people to know that I'm 2 for 2 2 years straight in predicting who will win the Super Bowl in the NFL. Just to throw that out there, if our audience didn't know. Um, but predictions, second half of the NBA season, I foresee a Luka MVP, a Luka or Shea MVP. But I'm gonna lean more towards Luka because the numbers are crazy. But if the Thunder continue to be the number one team in the West, usually MVP goes to the best player on the best team. That could be a real thing. So I'm kind of hedging predictions, but I do have it as Luka and Shea. I think um, there's going to be some burnout with voting for Jokic. I don't think Jokic gets that 3 years in a row, unless he averages another triple double. But um, I'm actually looking forward to. I think a finals matchup that we potentially could see is. It may sound crazy. It could very well be a rematch of last year's finals, or I could see potentially maybe the Celtics going up against uh, the Nuggets as they currently stand. But I don't know, man. You put LeBron James in a 7 game series against anybody with a pick and roll with AD in it, and anything could quite literally happen. So um, I won't count out my Lakers as a dark horse for a final spot, but it is a long shot at this point. So, but I'm thinking either another finals rematch or potentially you're looking at Celtics and Nuggets. Not breaking news, nothing fancy, no splash predictions, but just the way basketball has been trending. I definitely think. Uh, and I just gave praise to Luca. I do want to say that I could I could see a world where either the Mavericks or the Clippers could potentially um be fighting for
Yeah,
the West is back, man. Definitely about to be the wild wild West once again.
the West got
Playoffs
something
in
to
the West,
say.
nah, for sure. And it's back to the East being super weak again. It's almost like, damn, the NBA is back in balance, right? And it's like, yeah, the West is tough, and then the East is like, you got a few teams at the top, and everybody else is, everybody else.
So I am right there with you. I think the Clippers, the Clippers, I think are a high favorite to come out of the West.
Yes,
Um, I think if they could just stay healthy, I think they're going to be a scary team no matter where they're seated at. Having to go, I wouldn't want to go against them if they had full strength. So my prediction would be that if not the Nuggets being the defending champs, it's the Clippers coming out of the West. I predict that. Um, another point we had talked about this prior in terms of the MVP and being like Shea and Lucas to lose, and Lucas numbers obviously astronomical. And I kind of brought up the point, like, all right, I would give it to Shea just because they're higher seed, and Luca is like right there in that 8 seed play in spot. But I heard Gil, he had added on more to outside of Shade, just being a high seed in just terms of just being like, yo, he's leading like young guys, along with like the damage that he's doing with scoring. Whereas like you look at Luca and it's like, he got somewhat of a veteran ball club that he has the supporting cast behind him. Whereas Shea got a Chet who, is a asterisk second year player, you know what I'm saying, but you didn't get to play his rookie year. Um, and young guys, and Jalen Williams and so on and so forth. And so I thought that was also interesting because what you call it wasn't named an all-star, but we know he's a superior all-star talent. And Kyrie Irving. Um,
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Best
But
second option in the league.
yeah, but somebody such as Shea don't have no all-star alongside him on the court. Very promising young guys, 1,010% for sure, but they, hadn't necessarily eclipsed. What would, and here's the other thing too, um, that's interesting about OKC is like Shea is getting all this love and this praise in the regular season, and it's just like we always talk about, the playoffs is, the regular season is where you get your name, but the playoffs is where you earn your fame. And so it'll be interesting to see, like, in the playoffs, you have to increase your regular season average, or maybe just your regular season usage and productivity. So if you're already averaging 30, 32 a game, and then you coming into a playoff series where obviously we know the X's and O's is going to be stop you at all costs. Can Shea can Shea find another gear for us to be averaging like 36 in a playoff series? You know what I'm
No.
saying? Like,
Usually the game slows down to a half court game, and those numbers come down a bit, unless your name is LeBron James, right? Or Jimmy Butler in recent memory, right?
or 36 is a lot in any playoff series, but I feel like a slow
And
game.
they
I
young,
feel like
bro.
a slow pace for Luca is like even like a match made in heaven for his game. Um,
True, because you can't speed them up, can't slow them down.
yeah,
It's that herky jerky European James Harden type vibe, right?
yeah,
Exactly what it right-handed James Harden.
and
Excuse me.
my other, so I would have Shea winning MVP. I would also have the Clippers if they can stay healthy. I was coming out of the West. Those would be my predictions. For the West. On the East, though, on the East, I would very much so like to see the Milwaukee Bucks get a chance to go up against the Indiana Pacers in the first round. The Bucks are 3 seed right now. The Pacers are going back and forth with the Heat between the 7th and 6th seed. If the Bucks can stay at 3, or if the Bucks can stay at 3 and the Pacers get their 6th seed, or the Bucks go to 2 and the Pacers go to their 7th seed, I would love to see them in the first round matchup. And if that is the case, you could book it. The
So
Pacers are
God,
getting 12.
you said the Pacers are getting swept.
If it happens, trust me, the Pacers will get swept. That is my prediction.
Brother, I don't think you know who's on the other side of that other
I've
side of that
already
court.
I've already factored this in. Trust me, I've already factored it in. And
Have you?
the factoring it in is this. I don't even know if they win the championship anymore. I was highly optimistic, but with Doc, I don't even know if like they coming close to winning the championship. But they getting out of the first round. The Bucks are getting out of the first round. Like, let's be clear. I just hope it's against the Pacers. I think the Pacers get swept.
I could definitely see him getting swept, but I can also see Doc Rivers having a colossal meltdown of epic proportions to where
Having a farewell
we
series.
literally get to force his sorry ass out the league. He should
Yeah.
not be coaching the Bucks. It's an atrocity what they did to Adrian Griffin, getting him out of here. Not even midway through the season like that. And even Doc Rivers was like, "Hey guys, hey, I don't know how I got the job, guys. No, you suck, bro. I know it's the tail end of Black History Month. It's like, why you hating on another black man? No, bro. A spade is a spade. I'm holding bro accountable. Brother, you suck. Your in-game adjustments suck. I hate that Damian Lillard got you as a coach. You suck. I hate Giannis got you as a coach. Because now, and it looks like, dude, your first 7 games, you get there as soon as you get an interview. I mean, guys, we're coming off, that's best team in the league. I mean, like, you guys aren't telling the whole story. No, Doc, we are. And I like how JJ Redick called him out earlier last week. Just saying, like, Doc, when are you gonna stop with the excuses, man? It's always your team. It's always somebody else. It's always you throwing your team under the bus whenever you need them most. And it's like, leaders lead, and and niggas who pretend to league make excuses. So hey, whatever category you think he fall in, let us know in the comments below.
Definitely let us know in the comments below. And shout out to everybody quick, man. Our numbers have just been like going like through the roof in terms of like the engagement and the comments and the likes and the watch and the views. Like, thank y'all so much. This is like 3 years and counting. We've been building this up. And yeah, man, we don't take it for granted. We truly appreciate it. Thank y'all for engaging with the content. If y'all get the options on for those who listen to it through Google and Spotify, you get the option to leave a review and all that good stuff. Please do that to help us, keep staying in people's algorithm. And yeah, man, we're gonna stay consistent and bringing y'all the content, man. Adding on to Doc Rivers, adding on to the Doc Rivers conversation. Doc Rivers is, I was about to say 7-4. Doc Rivers is 4.
Pull up his record in playoff series when he's leading 2-0 or when he's up 1-0. The numbers they pulled on that,
Oh yeah.
absolutely astronomical. He literally leads the NBA. I'm talking about the history of the league
Yeah, history of the
and the
league.
most blown 2-0 leads, the most blown 3-0, 3-1 leads, the most uneven, lopsided comebacks in league history have been at the expense of scratchy voice Rivers and his golden boy son protecting him on ESPN, getting a check for it. This shit is disgusting. Ain't
Doc
nothing
Rivers
worse when you.
right now he is 5-7 with the Bucks so far, so below 500 at this
Of course.
current moment point in time.
And I heard it come out in some conversations that the reason why they won the championship back in '08 with the Celtics was because of his assistants on his staff. And if anybody knows, Tom Thibodeau was an assistant on Doc Rivers' staff back then, coaching up the defense. Was not Doc Rivers. And they also had an offensive assistant coach who was making the offensive in-game adjustments for the team as well, along with Rondo being, another player, head coach slash captain slash quarterback of the offense, calling reads out, knowing the other team's plays, knowing their plays. So um, I said all that to say Doc Rivers has never been that guy making adjustments, man. And if you're a
Doc
Bucks fan, probably.
Doc Rivers teams have also blown 3 leads when leading 3-1. He's blown 4 3-2 leads.
Hmm.
And
Most in history, by the way.
he's blown 1 series when leading 2-0. And he's lost 4 game sevens at home. And overall, he's 6-10 in game sevens. Okay, a new segment we're going to try to start to install. It's called Respect It or Check It. If you check it, simply, you just don't agree with it, you need to call it up to the forefront and dissect it for what you think it's not, not respectable to be. But if you respect it, hey, you agree with it. You can respect the game, you can respect the hustle, or respect the situation and the outcome of it. So, I don't. We had an episode immediately following the Super Bowl, but you missed that episode. So I think we either left it out or I didn't find out about it till like after the fact. But a dude places a bet. I don't remember the specific numbers, but a dude places a bet on whether or not there will be a streaker in the Super Bowl. Let's say whatever he placed a bet for $1,000. That guy himself who placed the bet ran out onto the Super Bowl field as the streaker to cash like 300 some thousand plus on $1,000 bet. if you have any details to that, feel free to add it. But that's just the premise of it. And with those details, do you respect it or you feel the need to check
So, quick background on this story. I actually did my research on it. I'm a
it?
betting man myself. So that actually is a fake story, and
Okay, it's a fake. Okay.
most casinos and most books won't take that bet due to the variable aspect of it. Of hey,
Because if it's that
you
easy,
exactly you could literally
yeah,
just be that guy, right? You know, do your little time in jail and come back and collect and change your life, right?
yeah,
So it has been debunked as a false story,
as a hoax, yeah.
as a hoax. But in a perfect world, right?
In a perfect
Shit,
world.
hey, man, man, get your money, man. I'm respecting that the whole way. If it was a true story, I definitely would. Hey, man, you ain't harming
Yeah,
nobody. You getting bread.
y-
I salute you.
yeah, no, when I seen it or whatever, I was just like, it seemed too easy, but for the sake of the podcast, let's just bring it to the forefront. So yeah, nah, me personally, I would respect it. Because when I seen it, I was just like, you mean to tell me it's been this easy all this time?
Man, come on, cause that ain't nothing but a trip down there. Man, come bail me out, man. As soon as we get out, man, we going to the counter.
Oh man. Oh man. Okay. We hadn't had the chance to talk about this, and it sucks that we can't all talk about it at full strength. But should Houston Texans fans be alarmed since we seen the footage of Amber Rose breaking, getting through the offensive line and being able to get in close proximity to CJ Stroud? Should we be alarmed for our franchise quarterback?
I'm gonna say no, and this is why.
All right, all right.
Man, I got a lot of respect for CJ, man. The guy can dissect the defense. Clearly, the S2 test was horse, you know. But hey, man, he was just giving a ride to, a friend. They didn't know each other. Hey, whatever the case may be, hop in the lamb. Let me take you to the, wherever you going, and God bless you, my sister in Christ. But man, I think CJ, man, at the end of the day, bro, he's 22 years old, man. He gonna live a little bit. Niggas die a lot. But I do think all in all, man, he got his head in the right place, man. This is Houston, so I don't blame him. It's gonna be something that maybe slip through, man. Just be smart about it, CJ. Let's keep the main thing. And you know,
I ain't gonna lie though. I had looked at it. I had looked at it from this perspective, right? I was just like, man.
wasn't familiar with your game.
I
I
was just
wasn't.
like, if we think about her scouting report, if you will, Kanye,
Mm.
we got dark, twisted, beautiful fantasy.
Hey, I will say this. You
We
want to talk
got
about who could have worked for an NFL team and scouting? She can scout him out because the claims or the report that came out, I don't even know who he is. You know that nigga played quarterback for the Houston Texans. You know quarterback is the most paid position
out of all
in
the
the
people
game.
at that event, that's the person you asked to give you a ride back to your hotel because you forgot your Uber or your friends left you, whatever. But her scouting report, you got Kanye, you get Dark Twisted Beautiful Fantasy. Then you got prominent artists, another prominent artist, Wiz Khalifa, who's like had a great rap career and
And
probably
a
got
child
us
with.
and a child with and created multiple records that's gonna like live to the end of time.
Right.
But most notably, See You Again, right?
Man, yeah. I forget that's like his most
Right. You know what I'm
streamed.
saying? And so I'm just
Yeah.
like, well, it seems like through your scouting report, anything that you come in contact with seems to have a quick uptick in productivity.
If this means we
So
win a
I
Super
said,
Bowl,
I'm
by
all
all means.
for it.
Hey,
Hey,
if that's God's will
hey,
for our life,
man.
Lord, so be it.
Amber, I'm familiar with your scouting report. Oh man, yeah, nah, that's my take on it because if it all goes bad, we gonna blame her, and if it all goes good, we gotta give that lady some type of credit. I'm just
Man,
saying, man.
like CJ said, first and foremost, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Jesus
Hey,
Christ.
you dig what I'm saying?
Oh man, nah, that's real. That's real, man. Straight up, dog. Straight up. Uh, I hadn't had the chance to like uh, dig on it as much as I would want to. But you could lay the platform, and then we could come back down the road and address it in terms of you wanting to create the all-time list for Texas college football quarterbacks. I know you say you
Hey,
was watching the Johnny Manziel episode on Club Shay Shay, and that kind of
I
just put
was.
you in down a wormhole, just like
Yeah, a little rabbit hole of, man, let
yeah,
me go back and go look up, the old college greats like they highlights, man. It definitely got me thinking, especially from a high school perspective, Texas is definitely known as, a football state, unequivocally. Us, California and Florida, the three, main powerhouse states where, most of your top tier, football athletes come out of. But when you just think about, high school Texas football, man, they say everything is bigger and better in Texas. So,
yeah. Sir,
um,
stop.
just a quick five in no specific order, but I will give who I think is the number one Texas quarterback of all time. So, I think you have to put Baker Mayfield in there. Um, Definitely gonna put RG3 in there. Honorable mention Vince Young. And this is high school, right? This is strictly high school.
So you
For the
ranking
next,
them in terms of like their high school greatness, not what they did at the collegiate level.
exactly, right?
Okay,
Are,
okay.
are we doing high school or are we doing collegiate?
No, you pick because you pick. I interpreted it as I thought you were saying what they did at the collegiate level. Now, if you're saying strictly
We
high
can go
school, we can stay high school.
we can go college. Not a lot of people are familiar with the Texas high school football,
Tree.
pros and Joes. But from collegiately, man, I think top five college quarterbacks all time. I think you. I think you. I think an argument can be made. Tim Tebow got to be in there somewhere. He just does. He does. He has the championships.
Hold on. So,
I,
all
I,
right.
hey,
No, no,
I'm
no,
just
no, no.
saying,
All right. So, hold on. Let
Heisman.
me. All right.
Why is he not? Ain't one of the best
But
college
no,
QBs
look.
ever.
This is what you say, bro. We had to do an NCAA college QB rank, Texas edition.
Texas edition. Okay, okay. Um, so people who are from the state of Texas
Yeah.
that play the quarterback position in college. So from that vantage point, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go RG3, and this is no specific order. I'm gonna go RG3, Baker Mayfield, two names I already named. Kyler Murray, Vince Young. That's four. And five. Golly, this is tough. Man, this may shock some people, but bro, Case Keenum had a hell of a career at U of H, bro. Hell of a career. Case Keenum at U of H. And I know people are like, bro, you ain't gonna put what you call it in there. Brother, if you got any better suggestions, leave them in the comments below. But off the top of my head, you could Andy Dalton honorable mention, man. In college was really, really nice. But usually we talk about the upper echelon of quarterbacks. Gauge them by, individual accomplishments and did you win? And all those quarterbacks that I named, either have a Heisman or won a national championship or a combination of both.
So where do you, if you had to rank, and it's simply one and two, what do you
And Johnny
give?
Manziel, I'm sorry. And Johnny Manziel, I won't be disrespectful to Johnny Manziel. Led the SEC in rushing with 1,400 yards as a freshman. Came out, won the Heisman. Uh, Partying, smoking weed with Ross and Wale in the club. Never forget you, Johnny.
Where do you rank? Which award do you rank the highest? The national championship or the Heisman? Because I want to lean towards putting VY at the top because
Mm.
because he won the national championship, and at that time, beating USC at that time was like
Beating the 2017 Warriors.
2017 Warriors, Alabama, the Georgias of the world today.
Yeah, yeah. And arguably he went up against, again, arguably one of the greatest college teams ever assembled.
Ever.
Yeah. And this is arguably, right, because I know people gonna say, "Oh, what about the
It's like it's
2000,
without question
2002
like one of like
Miami Hurricane teams, and then you got the
yeah.
recent memory 2019 Joe Burrow, right, the LSU team." But yeah, man, VY definitely is up there. That's that's the greatest college football game I've ever seen in my life.
Ever. And so it's just like he didn't have the Heisman, but like to dethrone, decapitate like the face of college football at that time, like I don't like that by it. And then you went undefeated that season. Like that type of resume, I think is not, if not equal to a Heisman Trophy, arguably better. Like, would you want like that's why I say like, would
Mm.
you want a national championship or would you want a high? Would you want Vince Young's run or would you want a
So
Heisman?
so here's the thing: they don't give an MVP of these games, and they should. I really feel like they should. Um, just like they do Super Bowl MVP. Obviously, if you watch that game, Vince Young was the best player on the field for both teams, and in that regard, and then the iconic nature of the game, and the more so clash of the Titans, so to speak, that occurred. Again, you're going up against a team with at least 8 to 10 NFL players on it, that make a real splash in the NFL once they get there. Uh, and you got so much storybook ending, right? You had being down going into the fourth quarter, and then you got the fourth down conversion
You got the
with
game winning drive, like
come on, come on, man.
game
It's
winning
just
touchdown, like
you can't write a movie script ending better than that, right?
and they at
Literally,
the
that's
and they in Cali, they on the road,
come on, man.
like
We on the road with it. We have, come on, yeah.
Rose
Nah, you
Bowl, like they in Pasadena, bro. They at the crib. I mean, they on the
you
road. Yeah.
you you preaching better than they saying amen.
But yeah, would you prefer to be a Heisman winner, or would you prefer to have had the run Vince Young had winning the national championship that year? That's a great question. That is a great question.
Me personally, I feel like I would rather win the championship because, as we've seen in recent history, they can strip you of individual honors and awards like they did Reggie Bush so undeservingly in lieu of the financial situation of college football and collegiate sports today in general.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, with knowing that, I would probably want the national championship because they can't take that away from me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But hey, man, Vince Young, man, shout out to one of H Town's finest, baby. You know what I'm saying?
And the proof is in the pudding. It's not biased. The proof is literally you seeing it on the field, like take
Go
place.
watch the tape. It's a whole documentary on YouTube with millions of views of the lead up and build up of just Texas that season, and then going into that game, and then covering USC and how much of a powerhouse they were, winning two national championships prior, thinking that they were going to be, one of the dynasty teams in collegiate football to, cement themselves. Because people were ready to call USC, if they won that championship, the greatest collegiate team ever.
True
They
indeed.
were ready. Now they still are, but again, they
Yeah.
took that L.
But now, NCAA college football top quarterbacks in college football, Texas edition, off the top of the dome, no particular order. RG3, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Vince Young, Johnny Manziel. Put your honorable mentions in the comments. Put your top five in the comments. Anybody you want to take out, replace it. Let us know how you feel. Let us know how
Top
you.
five collegiate quarterbacks from Texas. This
Take
is not quarterbacks all time collegiately. So I don't want nobody bring me Joe Burrow. No, Texas.
from play for just for clarity purpose for the internet, the comment trolls. To play
Played
for
high
high
school football
football in
in
this.
Texas.
All right.
Because if somebody come to me and be like, "But Richard was born in," shut up.
And in Omaha, Nebraska.
But I think all those guys were born in Texas, though. I
Yeah.
know Vince Young was. I know Baker was born like around Austin, Lake
Kyler,
Travis area.
obviously, Kyler
Kyler
Allen
obviously
High
born.
School.
I know, and Johnny Manziel, I think he's Lebanese. I'm not too sure if I think he may have grown up in Texas. I think his parents did, but I think he's another Texas grown kid as well. So I
Yeah,
mean, we
he went to high school in Kerrville, Texas. All right, so to wrap up the show, man, I had this topic, like I said, before the wedding, but and just the spirit of being able to just pass on information and respect the game. So, in the spirit of a marriage, Jim, right? Somebody who been with a old lady for going on 8 years, married for going on 2 years. When I was in that process of trying to get married, or I felt like, all right, this is somebody I want to marry, it was always important for me to make sure that when I proposed that she was saying yes to like wanting to be married to like the work that it requires to like have a successful marriage, right? I didn't
mm,
I didn't want her to be saying yes to a wedding dress. I didn't want her to be saying yes to a wedding day. I wanted to like make sure again she was saying yes to the work that it takes to, have a healthy, successful, long marriage. And I thought that was the most important thing to like try to do in terms of like trying to figure out like, whether or not you found the right one or whether or not like you should be trying to marry this person, right? And I, I recently discovered that it's really not enough to find out, or it's really not enough to just make sure she not saying yes to the dress, or she not just saying yes to having a wedding day. And it's not even enough to know that, all right, she's saying yes to wanting to do the work that it takes to, have a good marriage. Even all of that isn't enough, right? And I
Right.
feel like what you have to do your due diligence in, like, to all my brothers out there who, you know what I'm saying, like, you either you nearing towards marriage, or like you thinking about it, or you got somebody you've been with. um Obviously not everybody comes from a situation like mine, where like I got to like see marriage in my face, or my parents being married for 30 plus years. So I kind of had an idea like what it looked like. It wasn't a foreign concept. I know not everybody comes from like a situation like that, and like y'all may not necessarily know like what y'all should be looking for, or have any type of guidance. And again, I don't have all the answers, but what I feel to be true is that through your process of evaluating like whether or not you want to marry a woman, trying to figure out if she's the right one for you, don't don't just make sure she's not don't just make sure she isn't saying yes to the dress or the wedding day, or to just like want to put in work. Make sure that she is saying yes to wanting to be married to you specifically. And I think it just took time, like I said, going on 2 years of being married, it just took time. And it just recently just came to my mind, like when I just like see my wife and like how she move around the house, and just, with our day-to-day lives, and like how she's always trying to make sure I'm good and make sure I'm straight. Like it dawned on me, I was just like you really want to be married to like me, like, you know what I'm saying, like
Mm.
you know what I'm saying, like
Talk right.
it was never like when I
I'm
asked
not
you,
getting married to the idea of you.
dear you
I'm not getting married to the literal idea of, man, I just want to be married. And he asked, we just so happen to be together for a minute. You know
man,
what I'm saying? Not one of
yeah,
those, because there's a lot of that going
it's
on too.
it's a beyond measure going on.
I want to feel solidified. I want to feel gratified. So I'm going to marry you, hoping that that gives me this feeling of fulfillment, right? When marriage, like you said, is it's a continuous work in progress of
Yes.
always dating that person, always
Yeah,
getting
like,
to know them, because
and my
I ain't
favorite.
married,
Yeah.
but I do hear people change every 7 years, physically, mentally, and even from a cellular level, right? Like you got old cells that die off in the 7 years. You don't have the same cells in your body that you did seven
True
years prior,
indeed.
bro.
Yeah.
We regenerate with new people, so you gotta
Yeah.
always date that
Change,
person.
yeah, change spiritually, all of that. And
Yeah.
yeah, bro, like I did the best due diligence I knew to do to like make sure that like I wasn't going in marriage just like in like fairy tale like la la land, like it's always gonna be peaches and cream. And like even like my favorite line that I like to tell people when they ask like, "Oh, how's marriage going?" and so on and so forth, I'm like, "Oh man, like marriage is like great. It's amazing. Like even when we getting on each other's nerves, like I don't want people for like 1 second to think like some days like my wife don't get on my damn nerves, and I'm know for a fact there's days where I'm getting on her everlasting nerves, but even despite those days, like she still like caters to me, and vice versa, and making sure like I'm straight, I'm well taken care of, I have what I need, and I adding to what I got going on with work, and I'm making sure I do the same. And it's just, to I'm grateful that I realize it and I see it, and therefore I'm able to appreciate it and let her know about it. Um, but I didn't have that. perspective or know that that's something that I needed to like check for like prior to getting married. It's just something that like I get to see on the other side of now being married, going on 2 years. And so yeah, man, when y'all out there trying to evaluate, man, and like find the right one, bro. Uh, yes, make sure she not just saying yes to a wedding dress. Yes, make sure she not just saying yes to having a wedding day. Yes, make sure she not just
Okay.
saying yes to wanting to be a wife to anybody out there, right? Make sure she is saying yes to like wanting to be married to like you specifically through your good, through your bad, when you fucked up, when you're dick in the dirt, like still make sure like she want to marry
She's
you for
still
like
rocking
you.
with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. And like this,
Mm.
that's a blessing. And if you can find that, bro, you found the one, bro. You found the one. Like if you can find that, you found the one. Um, in my experience. So again, being with my wife now for 8 years, going on 2 years of being married. So that would be like my marriage gym for anybody out there, creeping up on feeling like y'all getting ready for that time. I would say that's a good starting process, a good starting evaluation process. And I won't even say when you think you ready to get married. I'll say from the jump when you start dating somebody, like like figure out if they trying to cater to you and what you got going on, and definitely be in a place where you can reciprocate to be able to cater to what they got going on as well.
And make sure they got something going on.
All right.
One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to be in a relationship with a hater or somebody who is looking over, looking on your plate like, well, why you definitely want to, be with somebody who's your cheerleader, man, who's gonna root you on no matter what.
All right.
Like my boy said, if you down on your last dollar, you know, y'all can both go in the store and get 50-cent cakes, you know.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, taco.
RPLA. If you know, you know.
Right, man. Shout out to Jack in the Box, man. Go ahead and get your two tacos for 99 cents, you know what I mean? Uh, but yeah, beautiful people. That is a great episode. Make sure you follow us on all your social media platforms. Shout out to our brothers, Sedacious and Black Peace, who couldn't make it tonight, but make sure y'all go follow them. And yeah, man, we look forward to had a great week of February, covering the playoffs of the NFL, Super Bowl. We looking forward to having a great upcoming month of March with more hot content, more great episodes. Love you, beautiful people, and we will see you next week.